The phone. Make a phone call. I tried to call him back. You cannot make a phone call.
Momentarily. I have to read these resolutions. Yeah, I apologize for the delay, but we're back up and reading. Can I have a motion to come out of recess?
Motion.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Seeing none, hearing none, we're back on. Again, I'll start reading these resolutions. Council members, feel free to pull them out. No, I'm going to read them first. You okay with that, Marcy? So,
Yes, we didn't do the minutes yet.
okay,
We did do the,
Yes, we did.
I thought we did
we did
that.
do the meeting.
Okay.
We did.
All right, resolution 21-267, refund overpayment block 515, lot 3, Necessa and Clough. Resolution, that's for an overpayment. Resolution 21-268, refund overpayment block 506, lot 14, Lee Orthman. Resolution 21-269, refund overpayment block 11, lot 1, Evelyn Ilaw. Resolution number 21-270, refund overpayment block 603, lot 7, Nino Pechovsky. Resolution 21-271, refund overpayment due to state tax court judgment block 45, lot 9, Glenwood Mill Inn Incorporated. Resolution 21-272, refund overpayment due to state tax court judgment block 45, lot 9, John J. and Paul Paparato. Resolution 21-273, refund overpayment due to state tax court judgment block 45, lot 9, John J. and Paul Paparato. Resolution 21-274, refund overpayment block 512, lot 27, Freeman Marchiosho. These are all so far tax refund overpayments. So let's take care of that one first. May I have a motion to approve resolutions 21-267 through 21-274? One second. Roll call, please.
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili. Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes,
Council President Shortway,
Yes.
motion carries.
And we'll go, the next will just be roll call. Resolution authorizing fireworks, that's resolution 21-275, resolution authorizing fireworks to be displayed on December 31st, 2021, within the township of Vernon. This resolution authorizes a fireworks display. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-275?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili. Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
yes,
Council President Shortway,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, I'm going to read the resolution, but then I'm going to recuse myself on this one. Resolution 21-276, appointment to the Vernon Township Municipal Utility Authority. This resolution authorizes an appointment to the VTMUA. John, if you could take over, I have a possible conflict, so I'm going to exit the room so you can have free discussion if there is some. Thank you. I'll be out here. Just come and get me when you're done.
I will.
Thank you.
Does the council have discussion on 21-276?
I have a question or a few questions. When I looked it up this afternoon, it says that Mike doesn't expire until February of 2022. So I was just wondering why we are voting on this now. Sorry, why we're voting on this now when you don't expire until February of 2022. I don't know who answers that.
I'm sorry, Mike resigned from the MUA a week ago about.
I'm not so sure here, but the appointments to the MUA are council appointments.
Right.
And I don't really know why he's resigning necessarily. At least, if he told me something personally about family or other kind of stuff, it's not stuff like that.
Who's resigned?
I
You resigned.
Yeah, so this is an appointment by the council. And I think that the council should speak to this. It's not really something that I have the authority to speak on.
So for the record here, that Mike, you resigned when?
Mike, have you?
Believe it was December 10th.
It was December 10th. Okay. And I mean, the question came up, was there a posting regarding this on the internet for the alternate position? I do remember a posting, but I'm not sure whether that was for Scott Gallagher moving forward. But I believe there were more than one application already for an alternate, correct?
Correct.
And Mike,
Other applications?
I believe there was another application or not?
So I don't know of another application.
Okay, I had heard
For
that
more than one application.
application or
You
not.
never saw another one? Like, how do we vote?
No.
Nothing against you. I think you're amazing, and I think you'd be great on this, but how do we vote if you're saying there was an application that you never saw? So how can we vote? Like, how do you vote on that?
We've only received one application.
Only one. Did you, I didn't get it. I mean, I know I only have a few days, but I still should. I mean, if we're voting on other stuff, shouldn't I?
I believe the process is a bit, I believe the process is a bit flawed here, and I would suggest,
I didn't see your application. I didn't see anyone's application.
I personally believe that this process is a bit flawed for this, and I think we should table this for now.
Can you have that? Please.
Hang on for the, but I'm going to say for the record,
Like, I think, he does have the experience, and he would be a good person for the MUA, and I would 100% vote for you to be on the MUA, but it's just not, the process is not correct. How do we vote on this?
Let me tell you the reasons. The reason why I resigned.
No, I don't know, no.
Well, I'm gonna tell you-
It doesn't matter. How do we vote to put you back in when Andy's saying there were other applications? I never saw one application. I'm not asking why you resigned. That's your own, that has nothing to do with this. Like, you want to be appointed again. We're trying to appoint you again.
I think we,
Never saw an application. We saw like
I think we
6 others.
digress.
There was no posting.
excuse me. I think we digress on everything. I don't think you need to explain it. I think if you're going to make a motion to table this, then make that motion.
all right, before I do, for the record, one of the things I'm very concerned about, and this is a special note to the council coming in. Mr. Fury has been a very key element to the MUA over the last 18 months and helping us secure $600,000 in cost savings and another $300,000 this year. And we have been fighting to stabilize the rates on the MUA and have done a very effective job under his tutelage in doing so. And I know I do not want to lose that. So I'm going to urge that we table this, but I also would like to strongly advise the council that's coming in to strongly consider Mr. Fury's application in the future so that we can keep that experience on this MUA so that we can further improve the financial stability of the VTMUA for the future of Vernon. That is my proposal, is that we table it, but under advice to the current council coming in. With that, I'm going to
Motion.
motion
We have a
to,
motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Can we have a roll count?
Mhm. Vice President Auberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
yes.
motion carries. The table.
Chuck's go.
Okay.
You may
Okay.
resume.
What's that?
You may resume.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to resolution 21, 277.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 159, resolution requesting approval of revenue and appropriation, amending the 2021 budget as a revenue and appropriation of $12,337 with township cash match of $2,955 for the recreational opportunities for individuals with disabilities grant. This chapter 159 resolution amends the 2021 budget as a revenue and appropriation. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-277?
Motion to approve resolution -21-2277.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-278, temporary budget debt service. This resolution approves a temporary budget for a period of January 1st, 2022 to January 31st, 2022. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-278?
Motion to approve.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-279, resolution authorizing a Microsoft Cloud agreement with Tangent Solutions to provide cloud computing services. This resolution authorizes a Microsoft Cloud agreement. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-279?
Motion to approve resolution -21-279.
Tony's on the second there. Okay. Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-280, resolution authorizing the mayor to execute agreement for website design, maintenance, support, and upgrade. This resolution authorizes such an agreement. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-280?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili, Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-281, authorizing an agreement with the County of Sussex Department of Human Services, Division of Social Services for transportation services for senior citizens and people with disabilities who reside in Vernon Township for the year 2022 in the amount of $50,000 per year. This resolution authorizes an agreement for transportation services. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-281?
Motion to approve resolution number 21-281.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-282, agreement to act as co-applicants with Mountain Creek Resort, Inc. for a dam rehabilitation loan pursuant to the Dam Restoration and Inland Waters Projects Loan Program. This resolution authorizes an agreement for Vernon to act as a co-applicant for a dam rehabilitation loan. Can we have discussion, Mayor? You asked
Yes.
first to, you wanted to address the council?
This is a resolution that I presented to the council, so I'd like to just add some comment. Excuse me. At the end of September, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's Bureau of Dam Safety, they actually announced that they were accepting applications for loans to be used for dam restoration projects throughout the state of New Jersey. The purpose of this Bureau of Dam Safety Loan Program is to provide loans to assist local government units, private lake communities, renters of state property that contain dams, and owners of private dams with a repairs are needed to reduce the potential harm that the breach of these dams would cause to the life and property of those around them. The Bureau of Dam Safety Loan Program requires that the local municipality co-sign the application for one of their loans. This is something that Vernon Township has done in the past for at least two of our private lake communities, those being Berry Lakes twice and Pleasant Valley Lakes once. There's a dam on one of the mountain ski properties that Mountain Creek leases from the state of New Jersey. This dam is classified as a Class 1 high hazard structure, as Joe mentioned, which means that there is the potential for loss of life and property in Vernon Township should the dam and or the dike fail. As of now, the Mountain Creek Dam is not in full compliance with New Jersey dam safety standards. In 2017, the Bureau of Dam Safety approved needed design changes that would bring the dam and dike into full compliance with New Jersey dam safety standards. However, the dam and dike remain out of compliance due to a lack of funding to implement the approved needed design changes. Now that the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's Bureau of Dam Safety have announced that they are accepting applications for loans to be used for dam restoration projects, Mountain Creek is making an application for the fund that they need to bring their dam into compliance. The Bureau of Dam Safety's loan program requires that in order for any organization to be considered for a loan, the municipality in which the organization is located must have a resolution from the municipality confirming that they are a co-applicant to the loan application. Let me again note what resolution 21-282 is asking the council is that you pass this resolution granting me as mayor the approval to co-sign Mountain Creek's loan application. Should Mountain Creek be awarded a loan, then a separate resolution will be needed in order for the mayor to actually co-sign for the loan. And at that time, the exact amount, all of the specific terms and other specific concerning that loan will be known. Also at that time, the council can determine what specific type of financial guarantee they will require from Mountain Creek in order for the town to co-sign for the loan. The deadline for Mountain Creek's submission of their loan application to the Bureau of Dam Safety is December 30th of this year. In closing, I add that because this involves the safety of our community, and because Mountain Creek has been and continues to be not just a commercial entity in our town, but a very strong supporter of and partner to our town and the Vernon community, I recommend in the strongest terms possible that the council pass this resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members, any questions, comments before I ask for a motion? Mr. Fury?
Just to confirm, the application is to start the application process, but there's no commitment to taking, I'm assuming it's the iBank loan?
No, this resolution that you are being asked to pass tonight is to give me the authority to sign, to co-sign the application. It has
Start the
nothing,
process.
well, they're gonna need this resolution. They're gonna submit this resolution with their package for loan. Now, should Mountain Creek be granted a loan, they will probably come back to us because the state will probably require for us to co-sign the loan. At that time, the council in existence will decide whether or not we want to co-sign that loan and what kind of our requirement, financial requirement we'll ask for Mountain Creek in order for us to sign the loan. I do know in discussing with Mountain Creek, they are prepared to sign financial guarantees that will say, if in fact they get the loan, that we won't be on the hook for it. But that's for another time. Right now, all we're talking about is the application.
And the timing of the loan, do you have an estimate of when that's gonna be? Or I know the DB moves slow, but a year?
We're unsure of exact timing. I think it would be probably in 2022 that we would be back in front of the council.
Sometime in 20.
Okay.
That's my question.
So, mayors, let's say Mountain Creek, you sign it, council approves it, you sign it, they're going to be awarded a grant. You would have to negotiate a contract with Mountain Creek to guarantee, protect the taxpayers,
Right.
correct? Then once you would bring that to the agenda, then the next council would either approve or thumbs down. It would be advised and consent on any other contract if we're going to co-sign this loan and accept the monies.
Absolutely. And any negotiation that I would negotiate with Mountain Creek would be one based on what the council would approve. Because with me negotiating something that the council can't approve. So I would be consulting with the council in terms of what are their requirements for the town to be able to co-sign for that loan. But your point's exactly correct, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor.
You just to follow, meaning you could sign the application but the council has to approve the resolution.
The council has to approve the resolution for me to sign the application. I can't sign.
Moving forward, the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the first step, though, and you will have to co-sign a loan.
Well, we don't have to. We'll be asking, if we don't co-sign that loan, Mountain Creek won't be able to get the loan through the state.
So you can approve this, but it is nothing, because we still would, it would go on the next council if they wanted to approve the loan or not.
Provided Mountain Creek got a loan. I'm assuming that the application is going to be very good. The application is going to consist of more than a resolution. Should they get a loan, then the council would have to approve the town co-signing for it. Absolutely.
Because my fear is what happens in 20 years. I mean, I know you're doing a great job now and so appreciative of the town, but what happens if you're not here? Or, what with the pump, what was it, the pump house? That was a contract too. That was supposed to be fixed, and I know not by you. And that makes us, we had a contract. So how would we guarantee that taxpayers will not be, it has to be like an ironclad agreement, right?
Well,
It's nothing on the taxpayer.
well, that would be for the next council to decide. That would be, and I don't know if Joe wants to address that. I don't know what they're thinking about, but that would be for the next council to decide what kind of guarantees that they would require in order for us to co-sign for the loan.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of engineering that has to go into this. So they're gonna do engineering studies and to get the exact cost. And that's when they'll know exactly what they're gonna need to borrow from the IBAN. And it has to go through DEP approvals. They do environmental site assessments. They look at the permits and they approve the whole process. So DEP approval.
This has nothing to do with co-signing the loan.
Correct.
It's just-
No, it does not. Have I misrepresented anything, Joe? Go ahead.
No.
Would you come to the mic, please? I'm sorry, Mr. Council
No,
President.
it's fine. Fine.
Sure. Good evening, Council. Scott Fulton, Chief Legal Officer of Snow Park as beneficial.
And you can remove your mask if you like while you're doing it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you
Make
very
it
much.
clear.
I'm just going to reiterate and everything you said. The resolution tonight is simply required for us to apply. We need the resolution from the town saying that the town is willing to co-sign. But the next time we come up in front of the council, we'll have definitive agreements, loan agreements, and we'll work hand in hand with the town throughout that process so that the whole time we have collaboration together to figure out the loan agreements. and everything.
Thank you, Scott.
Yep, thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, to simplify this, let's say if you're applying, the town, we want to apply for a grant, the council by resolution votes up or down for you to apply for that grant.
Absolutely.
If you're awarded that grant, the council votes again to accept the grant. And
Absolutely.
this kind of is the same process. This is
Same
just the
process.
initial step to put them in the game.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
Thank you.
And it's the same process that we went through, well, when we did it for the Lake community. There's a vote for an application, resolution, and then there's a vote to actually co-sign for the loan. Two separate distinct processes.
And my only other question, and I know this is, a very serious situation. We don't set a precedent for other businesses in town to come to us for any, right?
We don't set a precedent. So far, all we've had are lake communities come. But again, this loan program here is for people with private lakes and other lakes. We don't have to. The town does not necessarily have to
Okay.
sign for an application. But we don't have to do it.
John, any comments?
Just
Andrew?
making a motion to approve 21-281 or 282.
I'll second that.
Let's go roll call, please.
Vice President Allberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pritzker,
Yes,
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Carries.
Thank you. Resolution 21-283, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Vernon in support of the location and operation of an adult use cannabis cultivation site by Sussex Cultivation LLC within the township of Vernon. This resolution supports the location and operation of an adult use cannabis cultivation site. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-283?
Comment, please, Mr. Council President.
By all means, Mayor.
Again, resolution 21-283 and 21-284 are two resolutions that I submitted to the council. So therefore, I feel that the council should hear me and understand why I presented those. On October the 15th, 2021, the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission, or known as the CRC, issued its first cannabis cultivation licenses since the passage of the 11/3/20 state constitutional amendment that actually legalized adult cannabis. As I understand, on December the 15th, the CRC will be accepting applications for the second round of cannabis cultivation licenses that they will be issuing sometime during the first half of next year. As I also understand from the due diligence that I've done on this matter, which includes detailed discussions with other mayors and municipal officials about this matter at the recent December the 16th through the 18th Legal Municipality Convention in Atlantic City. The CRC has enhanced the requirements for awarding all categories of cannabis license. As this relates specifically to the applications that are submitted for cannabis cultivation licenses, three of the enhancements are the value that the CRC will put on, number one, the applicant having title to or lease to a piece of property on which the municipality will permit a cannabis cultivation facility to be established. Number two, the applicant having a resolution from the municipal's governing body stating that the property owned or leased by the applicant is properly zoned for a cannabis cultivation facility. And number three, that the municipality supports the applicant's plan to establish a cannabis cultivation facility on this property should the applicant, number one, be awarded a cannabis cultivation license by the state of New Jersey, and number two, meet all appropriate municipal land use and other requirements. Two organizations, Garden State Green Genetics and Sussex Cultivation, have communicated their intent to obtain Class 1 cannabis cultivator licenses and to use those licenses to establish cultivation facilities in our town. Garden State Green Genetics intends to establish a cannabis cultivation facility at the property identified as 1761 County Road 516, also known as Block 238, Lot 1, while Sussex Cultivation intends to establish a cannabis cultivation facility at the property identified as 1785 County Road 565, also known as Block 153, Lot 43. Both organizations have provided copies of documents confirming their ownership or lease of these properties. In addition, I have confirmed with the municipal zoning officer that these properties are located in permitted zones. On a couple of occasions, Mr. Administrator Vogel and I, as representatives of the municipal government, have met with the members of both organizations' executive teams. During these meetings, we have discussed their credentials, we have discussed their plans, their visions for the cannabis operations and cannabis cultivation operations in Vernon. Garden State Green Genetics has put together a team that appears to have the proven expertise in the cannabis commercial area. For example, their team includes the director of cultivation and the master grower for the Greenleaf Compassion Center, which was one of the first grow dispensary facilities to be awarded the New Jersey Medical Cannabis Cultivation and Dispensing license. They have also communicated their intent to employ local Vernon residents and have a community outreach director who will work close with the town to establish a strong civic municipal relationship. As it relates to Sussex Cultivation, the co-CEOs of this organization, Christopher and Lori Dowling, are also owners and operators of a healthcare staffing firm known as nurses 24/7. This is a highly regulated commercial enterprise that has provided services to almost all acute care facilities in New Jersey for the past 15 years. Their healthcare staffing firm is certified by the Joint Commission on the Accreditation of Healthcare Organizations. And my research reveals that they routinely receive extremely high marks in the area of compliance. In addition, Sussex Cultivation's Chief Financial Officer also owns and operates a well-managed and highly respected cannabis farm in Grants Pass, Oregon. The cannabis space of this farm is approximately 40,000 square feet. Should Garden State Green Genetics and Sussex Cultivation be successful in earning the Class 1 cannabis cultivation license from the state of New Jersey, I believe that they are the type of organizations that would enable our town to make another step towards realizing the kind of financial contribution that we all envisioned when we passed the ordinance permitting cannabis cultivation facilities in our town. In addition, I believe that they are the kind of reputable commercial enterprise that we want associated with our town. I recommend your passage of these resolutions for them to use as part of their application for this license. In closing, I ask that resolution 21-284 be passed with one small correction. That's due to an inadvertent oversight on my part. In this resolution, I ask that the name of the applicant be listed as Garden State Genetics, when in fact it should be listed as Garden State Green Genetics. Those are my comments, Mr. Council President.
Thank you. And there's no problem inserting the correct title?
Just need to amend the resolution before it's voted on.
Okay. That would be on 284. Any council persons have any comment, any questions? Go ahead.
It's got to be nice. The question I have is, eventually, if they get a license, will they have to go back in front of the land use board for any kind of approvals?
They had been before the land use board. They will have to go before the land use board.
It will.
Like every other business, yes. They would have to pass those hurdles, have to go before the land use board.
And pass on whatever hurdle that is.
Whatever requirements we have in our town, they'll have to pass.
But do we have anything on the land, anything stating that, like a smell, because the smell is horrible, and to the people that live in that area, what is that going to do to their home values?
Well, at the time they go before the land use board, all nearby neighbors within a certain number of feet will be notified.
It's miles. Usually it's miles.
Whatever the land use requirements are, anybody within a certain area will be notified. As it relates, as I understand, as it relates to cannabis cultivation. Cannabis cultivation is grown inside in the greenhouse. What people typically smell is a cannabis product that they call hemp, which is grown out
Well, I know.
in the fields. And I'm not a scientist, not an expert, but I think that a cannabis cultivation facility is a greenhouse.
Well, I know in Franklin, it does smell. It's.
Well, I don't know.
So I know you mentioned, and I just think, I mean, for the amount of taxes, which, we're promising people are gonna get their taxes reduced, and I doubt that's going to happen. I think it's going to really hurt home values in that area. I mean, I wouldn't buy a house there.
Okay, I haven't promised anybody that taxes gonna be reduced. What I believe is that we're going to be able to get cannabis cultivation facilities and other cannabis facilities. We will be able to get funds not only from the taxes on the property, but the real big money that I think we're going to get is the minimum 2% of that gross profit sales. But.
And I don't like the idea of it being leased. I would, if it was a local farmer or a farmer that owned the property, but someone just coming in, doesn't live in this town, doesn't care about this town. I don't see any good of this, to be honest, but that's just my opinion.
Understand.
Any other comments, questions?
And I do hope that when this does go over on the land use board, people do come out against it and, speak up.
Motion to approve 21-283.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
No.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes,
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-284. Can I first have a resolution to amend it to insert, it would be Garden State Green Genetics?
Yeah, correct. I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
aye,
Aye. Any opposition? Any abstains? No. Okay, we'll make that change. Now can I have a resolution? Motion for resolution 21-284 with the amendment. Resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Vernon in support of the location and operation of an adult use cannabis cultivation site by Garden State Green Genetics within the Township of Vernon. This resolution also supports the location operations of an adult use cannabis cultivation site. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-284?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
No.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
yes,
Councilmember Short,
Yeah.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, resolution 21-285, transfer resolution balance transfer. This resolution authorizes a balance transfer. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-285?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
second that,
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yeah.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
yes,
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-286, resolution awarding bid for proposed town center bike and walking trail. This resolution awards a bid. I already know some council people want to discuss this. So Andrew, do you want to begin?
let's see here, did I have anything more in the discussion on this one? See if there's somebody else right now, I'm still looking for that.
Anybody else want to make a comment?
I do.
Go ahead, please do.
I'm struggling with this one because I am for the bike trail, the pump track and the walking trail. But I definitely hear Mr. Lynch and Mr. Rizzuto and Mr. Dunlap when they said, I didn't run again, not to be disrespectful, but Andy and John, I don't, weren't voted back in. So for something like this, I do think maybe we should table it, but then again, I hear Mr. Williams, who did so much work on this. And it wasn't rushed through because he's been working on this forever, so I just don't know. I definitely see why it should be tabled.
You done with your comments, Tony?
That's it, yeah, I'm sorry.
I just want to bring up a couple of things here that there were comments from the public that I just want to refresh people's memories. Back on June 10th, we did the mayor and the council had a special virtual meeting on June 10th, which we presented the whole bicycle pump track concept. There was a part done by Corey Stoner on the development of it. There was a part by Jessica Colwell, then there was a part done on the finances and the project cost of all of the different entities, including the bicycle pump track, the trail, the roads, and the costs were all attributed. There's also a frequently asked questions document on this site, and it's on the Vernon site, and it's been there since June 11th that can be answered. So a lot of people are saying there's a lot of questions, and I'm going to just say, first of all, I suggest anybody who has questions on this, review those questions and those answers. There are 10 pages of FAQs there, which they address things like the comment about the ESA. It's not just bobcats. The environmental, when we were going through this on the MUA and discussions with the New Jersey DEP, it was ESA, or what they call environmentally sensitive areas. And on that list happens to be one thing is the Bobcat. It's not the only thing. But that full list and that documentation, along with the justification of monies, of how it was spent and where the monies are coming from, which includes almost 40% of it coming from open spaces, all documented there, was presented by the mayor, Corey Stoner, and myself. So I would strongly suggest reviewing that and then going further with it. But in this bid summary, based on the presentation that was meant there, this bid from Solomon's does meet that. So I'm okay with that. We've been kicking this can down the road for a number of years. So yes, I am an incumbent that's moving out of this position, but we've worked very hard on this. Back in October of last year, I walked that property, 11 acres of it. We addressed the solid waste and we removed it. We addressed the toxic pile that is also removed. There was questions on the Baldwin property that's being purchased just in the last couple of weeks, and the report is not done yet, if I'm correct. But that lead has been removed. So when the question comes up, toxic waste or solid waste, everything that has been brought up, we have addressed. So I don't see a reason why we need to delay this, because we have done our due diligence on this council, but also as the administration of the town. Those are my comments, and I motion to approve this.
I just want to go back to Tony. Tony, are you making a motion to table this?
May I ask a couple, like,
You
should
can-
have done last brought up, but.
No, go ahead. I'm just gonna say, make comments.
Aside the last meeting, and he did show me some things, and I do feel like we need to be more transparent, and like, he was right, we had the paperwork there, we said we were gonna put the bids out on November 15th, but it already went out, like, how did that happen? Like, I feel, like, I do feel like people, the public we need to be more, and I'm not saying we're not transparent, it could have just been a mistake, but was it a mistake? Can we answer him?
Got two professionals, there that you could direct that to if you chose.
Can we just,
Go ahead. Tony.
something just, he put a motion on the
All
floor.
right.
I was just gonna say
So
that. There's a motion
that has to
on
be
the floor.
addressed first.
Okay, because I heard what Tony said. and
I made a
You
motion.
made the motion?
I made a motion to approve it.
Yes.
You did.
Okay, can I just make a comment before we go?
Please do.
Well, just a point of.
I'll remove the.
Go ahead,
There's
please.
a motion on the floor. Motion either needs to be seconded or fail, and if it is seconded, it needs to be acted upon.
Okay, so I'm not going to make a comment.
Table motion takes table motion.
Table
Okay.
motion has not been made.
I'll table the motion so you can make your comment.
Okay, I'd like to table this.
All right, well, Andrew made a
Oh,
motion before you did. That's why I,
mine could just be put down.
point of order. It has to go for Andrew first. He just tabled
There
it.
is a motion made by,
But he didn't.
point of order, there is initially, Councilperson Chili made a comment. She did not make a motion.
Correct.
Councilperson Pittsger made a comment. He then made a motion that needs to be acted upon.
So do I have a second for,
You have a second.
there is a second. I'm sorry you're not recognized, Mr. Rizzuto, please. Your time will come January 1st.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding us.
You're welcome. Therefore, we have a second. Can I have a roll call?
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Try to abstain.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And that was the motion to award
To award,
contract, right?
to award. Okay, public hearing, second reading of ordinances. Ordinance 21-33, ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending chapter 476 of the Municipal Code of the Township of Vernon entitled Short-Term Rentals. This ordinance amends chapter 476 of the Municipal Code. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 21-33?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Therefore, the floor is open. Does someone desire to make a comment on this ordinance for the public hearing? See no one on the floor. Are there any emails or anybody online?
I have two hands up. Jessica Palladini.
Paladini, you recognized?
My hand was up for the first public comment period. It was up and I kept it up and I had it up for the longest time and I was not recognized. My hand is not up for the ordinance. I was not recognized during the first public comment portion.
We closed public comment. There were no other hands up.
Okay.
Oh, so I'm lying?
Sorry, Mrs. Palladini. Do you wish to make a comment here? You could, by all means, at the end of the meeting during public comments, you can make your comment at that time. And you can bring forth your complaint at that time also.
Well, Peg DeStassi.
Ms. DeStassi, you recognized?
I want to say the same thing. My hand was up for over 5 minutes and I was never recognized. Your Zoom went down before you realized it. And we
Ms.
all
DeStassi,
wanted to have,
Ms. DeStassi.
sorry, Mr.
No, you
Shortway,
could
you're
speak
out
at
of,
the end
you're out
right
of order.
now.
We
Okay, take
had
her
our
down.
hands up
Take
and
her-
we have the
Take her
right
down,
to
Marcy.
speak. You are
Marcy,
out of
You
order.
can speak
You are
at the
out of
end.
order.
She doesn't wish to speak about the ordinance. Now you can hear me. Do you want to speak about the ordinance? You are welcome. You are invited to speak about the ordinance that is before the council at this time. You will be given another opportunity to speak. Your complaint will be recognized when it's time for public comments on any item not on the agenda. Do you wish to speak at this time? Is there a hand up?
I have Stephanie Vaccarello.
No, but is Ms. DeStassi's hand up? Because if she wants to speak on the ordinance,
No, I
Invite her.
don't see it. Her hand is up now.
Okay. She can speak about the ordinance. Mr. Sassy, you're welcome to speak on this ordinance at this present time.
I want to speak where I was denied my right in the beginning.
Okay, you can say that for the end during public comments.
Crooked,
Okay, shut it
crooked.
down, please. We're not going to have those kind of allegations here.
I have Stephanie Vaccarello.
Beccarello, you are recognized. If you can hear me. I think she's muted.
Can you unmute Miss Vaccarello?
I'm unmuted.
Thank
Can you
you.
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you tell me what ordinance we are talking about? Because I was so confused by that circus that I just heard.
I'll
What
repeat it.
exactly are we
I'll
talking
repeat it.
about?
Ordinance of the Township of Vernon County, Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending chapter 476 of the municipal code of the Township of Vernon entitled short-term rentals. It's about short-term rentals.
Okay, so you guys already blew the other one. Okay, that's fine. I have nothing to say on this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else? Or any emails?
I'm not for this ordinance. I have Beverly.
Beverly, is in regards to ordinance 21-33? Because you're going to be recognized. I believe you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, why don't you take your masks off? Unless you're trying to pass something that nobody understands, because nobody can understand what you're saying. Everybody's talking with, everybody's talking with them.
Regarding the
on.
ordinance. Do you have a comment
No,
regarding the
no.
ordinance?
Just take
No?
your
Okay.
masks off so we
Thank you
know what
very
you're,
much. You can speak.
so we know what
Next
you're
public
talking
comment.
about.
Thank you. Marcy, is there anybody regarding this ordinance 21-33?
Now, can I just say, Miss Palladini and Mr. Sassy, the internet went down. We were not playing games. It was stressful. The internet went down. We got it back up as soon as we could, and I do apologize. And I don't see anybody else.
Therefore, no one else wishes to speak. There's no one online. There's no emails to be read. May I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Seeing no one, may I have a motion to adopt 21-33.
I'll make a motion.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm so out of order. Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 21-34, ordinance extending lease agreement between the Vernon Township Board of Education and the Township of Vernon sublease agreement between the Township of Vernon and the Dog Owners Gathering Society of Vernon Township, Inc. for certain unimproved real property identified on the official tax maps of the Township of Vernon as Block 308, Lot 2, Old Block 133, Lot 2.05. This resolution extends a lease and a sublease agreement. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 21-34?
Motion to open the public ordinance 21-34.
And John is on the second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anybody abstaining? Here, no one. The floor is now open for discussion on ordinance 21-34. Is there anyone in the audience that desires to speak at this time? Is there anyone online that desires to speak?
I have a few hands up. Ed DeStacy,
Mr. Sassy, you recognized to speak on this ordinance?
Sorry, my hand was up incorrectly.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sassy.
I have Jessica Palladini,
Ms. Palladini, you're recognized to speak on this ordinance at this time?
Now, my hand was up for the entire time for the short-term rentals ordinance. Did the meeting go down then too, and I'm not aware of it? My hand was up the entire time to speak on that.
Sorry, it's been passed. You can make your comment on this ordinance now, and you can bring that up, that issue up during public comment at the
I don't
end.
want to bring that up during public comment. I want to bring it up during the public hearing to have it on the record.
It's already passed.
So you're not going to let me comment during the public hearing?
No, it's closed. You can make the comment at the end of the meeting, well, the public session.
Then you are in violation.
Okay, then
public
file,
hearing.
then file a complaint, Ms. Palladini. File a complaint.
You are an outrage.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
I have Beverly,
Beverly, you're recognized to speak on the ordinance 21-34 in reference to the dog park, the lease agreement.
My hand wasn't up.
I see it up right this time, so I won't recognize you then. You have an opportunity to speak when we have public comment. Thank you very much. Is there anybody else?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since there's no one that wants to speak about this ordinance, can I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
Motion to close to the public.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Hearing none. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 21-34?
Motion to adopt.
Second that.
May I have a roll call, please?
Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Abstain.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 21-37, an ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, accepting dedication of Upper Plateau Drive and Murphy Court. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 21-37?
Motion. Second.
We got Mike on the motion and John is on the second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? No, there. The floor is open on ordinance 21-37. Yes, Mr. Lynch, you are recognized.
This is about time that this happened.
Okay.
Harry, you and I were on council back in 2010 when this started,
Yes, sir, we were.
so it's about time.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch. Anyone else from the audience desiring to speak? You're invited. Mr. Dunlop?
Just a question. Has this road final paving been done?
Is
Is there more work to be done on these roads or not?
Mr. Mayor?
Engineer Star, can you hear me?
No, I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Engineer Star?
Yes,
Did you
yes,
hear
I'm
his
here.
que- Did you hear his question?
I believe you asked, was the final paving completed?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that right, Mr. Dunlop? I want to make sure I have it correct.
Is the paving completed or is there more work for the township to do on that road?
Yes, the final paving has been completed. I think Mr. Lynch just stated a little bit ago, there's a lot of history to this. This has been around a long time. A number of years ago that the bond was pulled and the township had to complete the paving on the roadway. I don't have the exact year, but the paving is complete. There were some repairs that had to be done. That's the reason why it's kind of drug out over the years. And those have been completed by the parties that took over from the bankrupt original developers. And it's been inspected and it's been recommended for acceptance.
You know why I asked? The only reason I asked is because Higgins Drive was a similar issue where the builder did the first paving, the township was supposed to do the second, they didn't. They came back and hit everyone with an assessment to have it done. The township failed to take out the bond. And so we sat there for years with the road falling apart. Finally, through the efforts of Mr. Shortway and the council, we did get the paving done. We appreciate it. I just would like to avoid that for these people so they don't go through the same thing that we did on Higgins Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Dunlop.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Anyone else from the audience? See no one from the audience. Anybody online? Are there any emails?
I have no emails for this. I do have Beverly's hand up.
Beverly, do you desire to speak on this ordinance? Your hand is up. You're muted.
Beverly, do you want to speak on ordinance number 2137? I'm going.
With no response. Okay, therefore, appears no one else wants to speak on this matter. Can I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please. Just all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Seeing no one, the floor is closed. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 21 dash?
Motion.
John's on the motion,
I'll second it.
Mike on the second. Roll call, please.
Vice President Warburger,
Yes.
Chili. Yes. Councilmember Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Councilmember Fury,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Of a decade. Okay, now I'll need a motion for public comments, limited to 3 minutes to any one speaker. Please state your name for the record and where you reside for the record. So may I have a motion to open the floor to the public to speak on any matter they desire?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that. John.
Okay, John on the second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? See no one, the floor is now now open. Anyone in the audience? Zoe, please come up. Ms. Heath?
Good evening, my name is Zoe Heath. I live in Hidden Valley condos. I just wanted to say, even though we're having some technical difficulties this evening, I really appreciate the option of having a hybrid public meeting. Our schools do it, but as far as municipalities go, we're ahead of the curve for a lot of other municipalities in Sussex County. Even our county doesn't live stream. It makes it so people from home can still participate, whether they be compromised or they don't wear a mask. They can still actively take part in the meeting from home. Even when there are technical difficulties, we can always bounce back. I feel a little silly now that we're having some technical difficulties, but truly, once all the kinks are worked out, it really will be so beneficial for everyone. I commute to work. I can't always get here at 7 p.m. knowing I can still participate, whether if I'm stuck in traffic or I have to stop somewhere. It's really nice to be able to have that flexibility, and with everything going on with COVID and flu season, for our safety too. So it is super appreciated. Vernon's one of the few towns that are doing it, so it's great. One thing though, I see you have 2 TVs. No one in the audience can see them, but I think it might be really beneficial either to just turn one or have another for the audience to see. I know we do presentations that require PowerPoints. We get a projector, we put it there, but I don't see why we would have to do that anymore with these great screens. So I think it would just be a good addition. Thank you.
Thanks, Zoe.
Thank you.
Excellent comment.
Anyone else? Mr. Dunlop?
Steve Dunlop again. I don't know what the procedure is for the council to censor an employee or the mayor. I raised this issue before. I came tonight knowing full well that this ordinance was going to pass for the hiking, for the walking and biking trail. I've been here for several meetings where it was talked about it was going to be a volunteer project. Obviously, it's morphed into something much greater. The mayor's made comments about having worked with HR2 development to have a right of way to use. I believe there's been a lot of falsehoods told about that. I don't think there was the effort put into it. I found correspondence going back to February of the Baldwin property. So I think it was the intentions of using Baldwin property all along. I don't think the mayor really had any intentions of working with HR2 development. From the discussion I had with the attorney, doesn't look like there was any effort made from a year ago when the ordinance was passed until what happened this past October. I do believe he was very untruthful when it came to his comments on the 15th. On the 15th, in the mayor's prepared presentation, he said that I'm going to release an RFP on next week. The earliest next week would have been the 22nd of November. Yeah, Marcy gave me documentation to show that the ad was placed in the paper on the 11th, the 14th, and the 18th. All of it a week before it could have possibly done based on what the mayor reported to the council. On the pump track, it clearly stated that the company that was bidding on the pump track had to have 3 pump tracks built in the previous 5 years. I've spoken with Stone Ranch. They said they built one in San Diego, which has now been closed because of fighting between skaters and bikers. And so the city of San Diego shut it down. There was a bond taken out, which my understanding of a bond is a performance bond to make sure that things are done when they say they're supposed to be done. This work was all supposed to have been done by November 6th. None of that happened. It still hasn't been done. We used township employees to do work that was part of the bid spec for Stone Ranch to do. I've never been able to get an answer as to Stone Ranch going to receive less money because of work that the DPW did. And if the DPW has so much time to be able to do work that was contracted to Stone Ranch, do we have too many DPW workers? A lot of questions came out of this, and I don't think that the council has been forthright. I know that the mayor has not been forthright, and I know there have been falsehoods made. And I don't know what the procedure is, but I think that the council needs to get control of the mayor and see that what he's saying is actually factual. And I don't think there were answers tonight. I know Ms. Chili made an attempt to table it. She was hesitant. Another council member jumped in and kind of took over her time and made a motion. And so we are where we are. I'm very disappointed, but not surprised because of what I expected to happen tonight. But I don't think this has been handled the right way. And I think there's been a lot of falsehoods told. And yeah, we are where we are. So I'll be like, hopefully the new council will be able to get control of the mayor and have a little more honesty in the township. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dunlop. Anyone else in the audience? Mr. Hessian?
I would just like to comment, thank the council again, and I've had the great fortune to work with many council people, many mayors over many years. Being an owner of a business in town and also the largest taxpayer in town, I can tell you that we have no intention of leaving. We want to be here for a very, very long time. Unlike elected positions, mayor, council people, we plan to work with all types of different elected officials over decades. So I'd like to welcome the new council members. We're really excited to be your partners here in Vernon, and we'll be here for a long time. I also just want to point out that Howard Mayor Burrell has been a fantastic promoter of Vernon, business, working with people. We just got a great economic impact award from the county, and Howard Burrell was there to be with us and celebrate that. And I know that in these situations, it's very hard, and I respect all of you for standing up here in today's climate to literally just take jabs all day long. It takes a lot of courage, and for the new council members, it'll take a lot of courage, and to the public who gets involved. But I think we all have to remember that we all care about the Vernon and each other. And I think it's sometimes unfair to be called a liar and a cheat when all the things that I've seen are absolutely untrue. So I typically wouldn't make a comment like this, but to see someone who I have such respect for be beat up here publicly, I felt I had to say something.
Thank you, Mr. Hessian. Anyone else from the audience before we move on? I see no one in the audience online.
I have Beverly.
Beverly, you're recognized. You have 3 minutes. Make your comments. Any topic you desire. Please unmute yourself. Just give her a minute. Maybe she's trying to unmute herself.
And Beverly, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, what I was trying to
There we
say,
go.
what I was trying to say before when you rudely cut me off was take your masks off when you talk, unless you're trying to slip something through on people because we don't understand what you're saying. I think it's very rude that you sit there and talk with masks on. And secondly, was very disturbing the pictures that were taken in somebody's bedroom at night. More disturbing is knowing that you all have guns. I find that very unsettling and disturbing. Goodbye.
Thank you, Beverly.
Yeah.
Next, Marcy.
Yes, I have Jessica Palladini.
Ms. Palladini, floor is yours. 3 minutes to make the comments you desire and the complaint that you tried to make
I want to
earlier.
make one clarification from what Steve Dunlop said after Mike Fury told us that Spawn Ranch did hundreds of bicycle pump tracks. Yes, they did one pump track, Mr. Dunlop, and that pump track is concrete. It's not even an asphalt pump track. I want to say that you are the rudest, most arrogant, most despotic governing body I have ever seen. Thank God that in only 2 weeks, we will have a decent, honest, courteous, and transparent governing body. I'm speaking tonight because I'm asking you to reprimand or censure Craig Williams, chairman of the Greenway Committee, liaison on the Environmental Commission, Land Use Board, to reprimand and censure him for once again violating the Open Public Meetings Act and conducting business by email, i.e. emailing everybody on the Environmental Commission, everybody on the MUA, everyone on the Greenway Committee, and a number of other people, including township employees, and directing them at what to do, to call in to the meeting and voice their support. So that is totally inappropriate. He is notorious for doing this. I have emails from years ago where he has violated the Open Public Meetings Act, and I, for one, want to see him reprimanded for having done this. The other thing that I want to mention briefly is that you are misappropriating funds. You are using funds from various line items and various funds that you don't have the authority to use for some of your projects, such as from the Open Space Fund and the Clean Communities Fund. You are misappropriating funds. This is not the first time I've said this. This is the second time I'm now mentioning this. And I expect $14,376 to be returned to the Clean Communities Fund because it was wrongly misappropriated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Palladini. Mr. Sassy,
Yes, I have Peg DeStacy.
I hope you will give me my 6 minutes that I was allocated earlier because of
you'll have 3
being cut
minutes,
off.
Mr. Sassy. You'll have 3 minutes.
Well, I'm entitled to 6 minutes. We were cut off before we could speak in the public portion, so I hope you will let me speak. I'm glad to see that you tabled the Fury appointment. Thank you, Tony, for your questions. I would have to say, if you vote to support Mr. Fury's actions tonight, you're violating an ethics law. No government official shall benefit from his appointment. Mr. Fury has been under scrutiny since 2010 for his many affiliations within the township with his company Agra. It is time for Mr. Fury to make a decision. Either remove his financial gains for his company or serve as a volunteer as the rest of us do. He currently serves as a volunteer on the MUA, the Gateway Committee, and he is in a paid position on the town council and with his contracts with the Board of Education for monitoring the lead in our schools and for the township for testing our water. That's a total of 5 affiliations with our township. This should be stopped. Either be a volunteer or be a paid consultant. You can't have both, Mr. Fury. Now, I'm recommending that you look at the old ordinance that was tabled 10-27. It was placed for a future agenda with the council, but never enacted. It will establish conflict of interest guidelines for all future Vernon public officials. I think that this council in particular has proven that this town needs a conflict of interest guideline. In addition, Resolution 2183 and 2184 should be tabled, and I'm speaking after the fact because I was denied my right to speak before, for lack of full disclosure on the principals and the locations. Who are the principals of each company? That's vital for information to be known, to be voted on. The locations for zoning is critical. People are entitled to know if it's in their neighborhood. Is it near a school? Is it near a child's playground? Full disclosure continues to be a major flaw with this council. And I thank Tony for bringing up key points on this. Resolution 21-286 should be tabled until the purchase of the Baldwin property is completed. How in the world can you appoint a contract on property you don't own yet? If the sale does not complete for some unknown reason, are we committed to a $200,000 payment to a company because we awarded them a contract? This makes no sense to me. Now, my recent Oprah request stated that they have not yet completed the requirement to remove the lead. So how can you be moving forward on a contract, which now I know you voted for, but it's totally ridiculous, as always. This council puts the cart before the horse all the time. Harry Shortway and Mike Fury have made decisions in this township that have benefited themselves and nobody else. It's time for that to stop. And I'm looking to the new council to bring that to an end. I would also like to state that I have mixed options and opinions about the tax refunds that continually appear on our meeting schedule. To date, as of today, and only at today's meetings, it's totaled more than 16,000. I'm happy for the homeowners that they got their money back, but I'm concerned about how is this investment company evaluating properties. Not only does it cost Vernon to go to tax court, but it costs the landowner. So why is this being allowed? I think it's time for an investigation to be done as to how the calculations are done, what can be done to minimize the errors and reduce the expenses to all. There seems to be a repetitive problem that needs to be addressed. Now, I did have concerns about Mountain Creek and the application for the dam rehabilitation program. And I do hope that, I know that Mountain Creek has kept its word since Mr. Heston is taken over, and I do hope that continues. But I do hope that with this co-signing or co-applicating for this loan, that Mountain Creek will hold us to be non-committed to any repayment, because the history has been that we have gotten held with the tab after they have either declared bankruptcy or a new owner is taken over. So I do hope that our mayor is making sure that we are protected in this. Otherwise, I have no problem with us co-signing that loan. I too received an email encouraging me to support the council in its move forward tonight. But I also have a big difference with a committee person taking it upon himself to put out a blanket email to the township voicing support. Mr. Shortway set the precedence with his appeal to the pump track users and the gun right people to allow this to be done. I think that this should be prevented in the future. Nobody on any committee or town council should be contacting anybody to pressure them into any kind of a vote. Now, having said all that, and I know it's been a lot, I do want to send my husband's condolences to John Orberger on the passing of his mother. And it's tough at the holiday season, as I lost my mother at this time of the year, and I know how hard it is. So, John, please accept our sincere condolences. And with that, I wish everybody a happy new year and a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sassi.
I have Martin O'Donnell.
Mr. O'Donnell, where is it? O'Donnell? Hi, Martin, you're recognized.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just two things. There was a comment made about the council and guns. I would like to ask that person to go back and do just a little more research, because New Jersey is probably the #1 state in the United States in difficulty in getting a firearm, #1. Number two, every single handgun you get, you have to get a permit for, and you have to go through a process. All right. New Jersey is probably, once again, the hardest state to get a carry permit into, and get a carry permit in. And it's usually reserved for law enforcement or retired law enforcement or some that are still working, or people in that line of work. Okay. So to get a carry permit in New Jersey is almost an impossibility for a regular person. So I think that comment is completely ludicrous. I am a gun owner myself. It is our right to own guns. So I think that that's just a little bit crazy to say that people on the council have guns and or are carrying them. If people in the council have guns, that's their right to have them. And I doubt very, very much that anybody on the council has a carry permit. So that being said, I'd like to thank the individuals who are no longer going to be on the council next year. Sometimes it's a thankless job. Sometimes it's unrewarding, but I'd like to make it thankful tonight and say thank you very much for everything you guys have done for the town this year and in the past many years for you, John. And I wish the people who are coming in the best of luck. And I think they're all going to do a great job. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
I have Walter Marsico.
Mr. Marsico, you're recognized.
Walter Marsico, good evening. Mr. Shortway, do you have an update on the status to the fulfillment of Mayor Burrell's campaign promises relative to using township resources for the development of new trails when this township is littered with trails? That money could be best used to bring in ratables, as he pointed out in his campaign speech. There's quite a few of us that are curious if he would like to rethink his campaign promises after we all listen to this.
Mr. Marsico, are you
Yes.
on?
I'm sorry?
We can hear you.
That was a recording. I was playing Mayor Burrell's campaign speech that he made. I was hoping everyone could hear it.
We couldn't hear it.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. It's disturbing the things that he said to get elected, and then he does the exact opposite. So I was just wondering if Mr. Shortway could update us on any of that. Quite frankly, Mayor Burrell, you should resign immediately to save yourself further embarrassment and further depletion of township resources. Now, in regards to the gun comment, we all know that, yeah, you're probably not carrying, and I would like to exclude Miss Chili from all of this because she seems to be the only one that stands up to the garbage that's going on with this council. However, since it's clear all over social media, Mr. Shortway made some comment about guns. Well, there's a reason we find this disturbing and that we're afraid. It's because the township employees are going around looking in people's bedroom windows at night. Now, Mr. Shortway says they all have guns. I didn't say they carry or could carry. I could care less. But Mr. Shortway's comments about guns is alarming. You should know, Mr. Shortway, you make a lot of complaints to people's jobs, right? These things scare you? Well, I'm alarmed by this, especially with you shooting a rifle off a cow for one of your campaign advertisements. It's alarming. Others find this alarming too. You should think about this stuff before you attack good, honest, tax-paying residents. So when people say that you guys are doing a good job, they're clearly misinformed and don't see what you guys are really capable of and what's going on behind the scenes. For example, I'll throw it out there, 16 Jenny Lane. You guys got yourself in a bit of a predicament over there. What on earth would possess you to do something like that? You know that's far from over. To look in a tax-paying resident's bedroom window and photograph it after hours in the middle of the night, and you sit there and think that's okay and think it's going away, right? That's what you think's going to happen. I promise you it's not going away. And I promise you, Mr. Shortway, you should watch the things that you do before you attack somebody's job, their employment, their earnings, because you are a bully. You are no better than anyone else there. And I don't know who you think you are and the way you address people. It's disgusting. That's all.
Thank you, Officer Marsico.
I have Sean Mazur.
Ms. Shore, floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. I'm going back to the motion that was tabled by Mr. Pitsker. I found it very disturbing, and I felt that Councilwoman Chili was bullied in the approval of that. I know she abstained, but it seemed like she was on the verge of making a motion, and then Mr. Pitzker's motion, he said he tabled it, and it seemed like you just all kind of bullied it through, and Mr. Allberger seconded it when it was already motioned to be tabled. I just think that was not done properly. And, this whole thing, Tony, I have to commend you. I felt like you were asking the right questions, and you were bullied. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mazur.
Ann Larson.
Ms. Larson,
Yes, good
you're
evening,
recognized.
everyone.
Good
Thank
evening.
you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very good. Yes, thank you so much. So I do have to agree with Mr. Major. It did appear on camera as though Ms. Chili was bullied into stopping her comments. You stepped all over her while she was speaking. She did say she had reservations with it, and you stepped all over the comments. I think that should be looked at again. Furthermore, Mr. Pitsker made another comment about the trails, saying how the money was allocated, blah, 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 the money was there. Let me tell you something, just because it's open space money does not mean it's free money. There's a difference. So I'd like to thank all the members who are departing for their time here. I wish the incoming council oodles and tons of good luck and success. But I do have another comment. Mr. Mayor, thank you for that very long-winded infomercial regarding the companies that are going to be, I guess, growing pot here. Ms. Chili is 100% correct. You can smell it a mile away. When we were driving through Pine Island a couple of years ago, it went on for miles. She's absolutely correct. You need to address these things. And regarding the Mountain Creek application, before Mr. Burrell signs anything, I would think that should be publicized for everyone to look at to see exactly what he is committing to. My fear is that your implied compliance with this, with going along with the application, implies compliance as far as the loan goes. And we all know that that is very detrimental to the rest of the town. So in the spirit of transparency, let's put it out there and see what you actually are agreeing, what you are agreeing to, so we can agree with you signing it. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to all, and have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Larson.
I don't see any other hands up.
Are there any emails to read?
I do have some emails.
Would you read those into the record, please?
Yes. I have an email from Butch Gilbert. He says the town pump track will be a great addition. Kids and adults will come from all over the area, enjoy this fast growing sport. It will keep kids out of trouble. I've been riding for years and have introduced my kids to this sport. Please let's make this pump track happen for your community and all the surrounding communities. I have an email from Margaret Standard. She's a Vernon Township resident. Thank you for reading my email tonight. I wanted to again express my support for the bicycle pump track currently being built. I believe that this will be a great asset to the community. It will help bring the community together, give both adults and children a safe place to ride their bikes, and help bring people into our town. I am absolutely baffled at those that are upset that people outside of our town are so interested in this project. Yes, people from out of town will be using this amenity. When people come into our town to ride at the pump track, at least some of them will stop for pizza, drinks, shop at the Acme, or just explore the town. Having people from outside of Vernon call and email the council their interest and support should be seen as a huge indicator that the pump track will be successful in the goal of bringing people into the town. After all, wasn't the point of the scenic byway I have heard touted so often by certain people to bring people into Vernon? I think that the bicycle pump track in a central location would rather complement the byway and trail system. This email is from Jackie Standard, also a Vernon resident. I wanted to write in and remind both the council and the residents that there are those who support the pump track. Personally, I strongly believe that'll be a great asset to the town and will help draw people into Vernon and our businesses. It will also help convince people to move into Vernon, as studies have shown that people generally prefer towns that have amenities like the pump track. As a tourist town, our goal is to develop a multi-phase plan to convince people to visit and convince them to keep coming back. From Mountain Creek to the Appalachian Trail to our lakes, our town is geared around outdoor activities. The more we can develop those, the more people we can bring in. The pump track will be great for those who don't mountain bike, but would like paved course to ride and challenge themselves. While our roads hold significant challenges for bikers of all levels, they are not safe for most riders. To those complaining about people showing interest from out of town, I would ask that they take a step back and think a little. It would be far more concerning if there was no interest at all. Isn't the point of the pump track to entice people to visit and spend their money in our businesses? When people from 2 states away call into a town meeting, genuinely excited about a project, that should be taken as a strong sign that something is being done right. I would also like to express my concern to the council about the comment made on one of their posts. A person stated that they would publish a list of those called into the previous meeting. Publish where, to who? In the context of the rest of the comment, this person seems to be trying to intimidate a group of people freely expressing their opinion in a public forum. To me, this is highly concerning, as it may prevent some people from commenting during public meetings, lest their name get dragged through the through the Facebook mud. That this person is also the loudest voice against the pump track does not seem to be coincidence. I refuse to be intimidated and ask that the council condemn this bullying tactic.
Any others?
That's it.
Say thank you. Anyone else from the audience before I ask for a motion to close the floor? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the floor to the public at this time? All in favor? Aye. Okay, Mr. Mayor, you're up. Comments?
Thank you very much, Mr. Council.
You're welcome, sir.
You know, our next council meeting is scheduled for December 3rd. Ever since that last council meeting each year, it's so close that it's been days to the required swearing in of newly elected municipal officials and to the reorganization of the municipal governing body. That last of the year council meeting is usually council. Therefore, I use part of my comments tonight to say thank you to the 3 members who will be leaving the council at the end of this year. The presence of council members Alberta, Chile, and Pittsburgh on this council have been a huge asset to this town. I have personally relied heavily on their wisdom, on their advice, and on their judgment, even when making decisions that the mayor has full responsibility for. Councilmember Alberg is knowledge of this town that's informed by his family's history in this town, plus his years of working in our Department of Public Works and our building department has proven to be extremely valuable, and in my judgment, can never be fully replaced. Councilmember Chili's sincere compassion for the people of this town and her strong desire and determination to always do what she believes to be the right thing has proven to be a strong force on the decision making of this council. Councilmember Pistor's clear, analytical, and logical thinking has been a major influencing factor on how the mayor and council looked at key issues. He is without a doubt one of the smartest and clearest thinking individuals that I've had the pleasure of ever serving with. While I hate to see them leave, I'm guided by the words of the author of many enjoyable and wise children's books, Mr. Theodore Geisler, better known to most of us as Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss advised us to not be sad or in poor spirit because something good is over, but instead we should be thankful that it happened. So as the year comes to a close, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity and the honor to serve alongside council members John Alberger, Tony Chili, and Andrew Pistor. To each of them, thank you all.
Thank you.
My second comment. We now enter the winter months, which could result in most of us spending a larger amount of our time inside of closed-in and possibly crowded quarters that could cause us to be more exposed to possible infections from the COVID-19 virus. But before we in Vernon focus on that reality, I'll provide you a brief review of how we were impacted by the COVID-19 virus during the past month of November. Vernon Township ended November averaging 7 COVID infections per day. We ended November averaging 8 COVID infections per day. However, we did fare better than our county as a whole. The county of Sussex ended November averaging 43 COVID infections per day, and ended November averaging 52 infections per day, a 9-case or a 21% increase. The preventive actions and safety practices that we in Vernon have taken and continue to take have resulted in far fewer COVID-19 cases in our town than what was projected by either the Sussex County or the state of New Jersey Departments of Health. For example, while we are 17% of the county's population, we have accounted for just 14% of the county's COVID-19 cases. 1 case is too many, but we are lower than what was expected of us. During November, Vernon thankfully had no new COVID-19 related deaths. There were 20 such deaths in our county during November. As a caution, already during the first 2 weeks of December, the number of COVID infections in our town have grown from 8 per day in November to 21 per day during the first 2 weeks. And in our county, the number of COVID infections have grown from 52 per day in November to 126 per day during the first 2 weeks of December. As we face this new and possibly more infectious and deadly Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus, I ask that you please join me in taking all reasonable health and safety measures to protect yourself, to protect your family, and others that you come in contact with from being victims of this deadly virus. As part of the municipality's effort to keep our residents safe and healthy, we are hosting a Sussex County Division of Health pop-up vaccine clinic in the senior center portion of our municipal building on Tuesday, December the 21st, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And my last comment. As has been reported in the press, in June 2021, the Township of Vernon and the Vernon Municipal Utilities Authority, or the MUA, filed a lawsuit against the Sussex County Municipal Utilities Authority, or SCUMA, in the Superior Court of Sussex County. In October 2021, the judge hearing this lawsuit dismissed it at the request of SCUMA. In what has now become their routine way of trying to spread disinformation and panic, the usual negative town detractors have used their Facebook pages to claim that the filing of this lawsuit by the leaders of the township and MUA is somehow another, quote, bad thing by, quote, lawless people. Those of you who have paid some notice to the language and insult that have been hurled over the years by the town's #1 spread of disinformation know that calling people bad and lawless are two of the kind of words that this spread of disinformation is used to describe those who don't agree with this individual or every single issue, or who this individual or this individual's followers can intimidate into doing their bidding. As a way of trying to clear up some of the disinformation that has been spread about this issue by these Facebook warriors, in my mayor's comments tonight, I will share with the Vernon family, #1, just what this lawsuit was about. #2, the actions that were taken by Vernon's mayor, the council, and the MUA to resolve this matter without taking legal action. #3, why I, the council, and the MUA have decided to appeal the judge's dismissal of this suit. First, what was this lawsuit about? This lawsuit is a challenge to SCUMA's failure to adhere to the New Jersey Municipal County Utilities Authority law, requiring them to charge a uniform and equitable rate to all customers who send sewage and wastewater to their facility for treatment. Specifically, according to the New Jersey Municipal County Utilities Authority law, SCUMA should be charging all of the municipalities that use their treatment services based on the amount of flow that each municipality sends to SCUMA for treatment. However, SCUMA's own records show that Vernon Township is being charged a treatment rate of $3.75 per gallon, while other municipalities are being charged a rate that ranges from $1.50 to $1.60 per gallon, based on the amount of flow they send to SCUMA. We know that these overcharges are unfair to the taxpayers of Vernon. And because this practice does not comply with the law, we believe that this practice is also illegal. SCUMA justifies these outrageous charges in part by claiming that their action is permitted by a, quote, bad agreement that was signed by the Vernon Township government that was in power in 2013. However, the laws of our state and our nation do not allow an individual and organization to break the law based on a bad agreement. Our lawsuit simply asks that SCUMA abide by the New Jersey Municipal County Utilities Authority law and charge all of the municipalities that use their treatment services based on the amount of flow that each municipality sends to SCUMA for treatment. Second, what actions were taken by Vernon's mayor, council, and MUA to resolve this matter without legal action? For a full year and a half, Vernon's mayor, Vernon's council, and Vernon's MUA and our legal representatives made repeated attempts through various organizational levels and sources to get SCUMA to listen to recognize, and to act on our request for reasonable relief from what their own data revealed is an unfair and inappropriate financial burden that's oppressive to the well-being and good existence of the taxpayers of the county's largest municipality, Vernon Township. In a last-ditch effort to get SCUMA to be responsive to our desperate pleas for reasonable relief for what their own data revealed is an unfair and inappropriate financial burden on the taxpayers of Vernon Township, In March of this year, I and other members of our municipal team met with members of school's leadership to discuss this matter. I explained to Schoolman that the importance that we put on that meeting was reflected in the fact that in addition to myself as mayor, who represented the executive branch of Vernon's government, also part of our municipal team at this meeting was a council member representing the legislative branch of our government, as well as the chief financial officer for our town and our MUA. That meeting did not produce a productive response from Schoolman. Third, why have I, the council, and the MUA decided to appeal the judge's dismissal of this lawsuit? First of all, judges' decisions are overruled and reversed all of the time. And we have strong legal reasons to believe that this decision will be overruled and reversed. Among those reasons are the facts that, A, in this initial pleading stage of this lawsuit, the judge in error concluded that this lawsuit was nothing more than an attempt by Vernon Township to challenge sewer-related school bond payment that resulted in a commitment made by a previous Vernon mayor and council. While it is true that Vernon's taxpayers' payments on these bonds will balloon from the current $1 million per year to $1.2 million per year in 2023, the filed lawsuit has nothing to do with these bonds or these bonds payments. This lawsuit is simply asked that SCUBA abide by the New Jersey Municipal County Utilities Authority law and charge all of the municipalities that use their treatment services based on the amount of flow that each municipality sends to SCUBA for treatment. We have also decided to appeal this judge's dismissal of this lawsuit because it would be irresponsible for us as municipal leaders and insensitive to Vernon's taxpayers for us not to do so. I say this because over the last 10 years, these inequitable, unfair, and we believe illegal treatment charges have cost the taxpayers of Vernon Township over $3 million, or an extra approximately $340,000 per year. And starting in 2022, that unfair charge will increase because SCUBA has informed us that the treatment rate that they will charge Vernon will increase from the current outrageous $3.75 per gallon to the even more outrageous rate of $3.98 per gallon. It would reflect a lack of leadership if we simply let this continue without trying to stop it. These inequitable, unfair, and we believe illegal treatment charges by SCUBA have and continue to directly hamper our efforts to develop our town center and to attract the type of and number of commercial entities that could locate in Vernon. But when an organization has a choice of either locating in Vernon and paying $3.75 per gallon for sewage and wastewater treatment service, or located in another Sussex County town and paying $1.60 per gallon, Vernon always loses. I ask you, would you pay $3.75 per gallon for gas if you could simply go to, say, Franklin and get the same gas for $1.60 a gallon? The answer is no. It's cost effective for us to appeal this judge's dismissal of this lawsuit. To date, it has cost the town and the MUA a combined approximately $30,000 to prepare and file this suit. And estimates are that this appeal will cost us another approximately $20,000 to $30,000. Spending an estimated $50,000 to $60,000 to save approximately $340,000 per year, for as long as we use the current SCUBA treatment service, makes sense to any reasonable person. As long as I have the privilege and honor of serving Vernon as its mayor, I will always try to lead the council to do the right thing and not simply the timid and easy thing for Vernon Township. Mr. Council President, that is my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll move on to council comments. Senior member, John?
I didn't prepare anything because that's not my style to do. I just want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the people on this council. I wish the most sincere luck to the new council members and the old council members working together to move Vernon forward, because that's all that really matters. And thank you for the out support for my mom just passed away this past Thursday, and I thank you for all the people that have reached out. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And the deepest condolences, and I know we speak for everybody here. Andrew.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for those comments. Appreciate that. And I'd like to thank the public and the town for serving the town council for the last 18 months. It has been a privilege and honor to work on the development and progress of moving Vernon forward. I will continue to stay active in the town through the VTMUA and work towards a more financially sound operation and development of the VTMUA as we go forward. To the future council coming in, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope I can be of some help. Council-elect Lynch, you brought up a very good point, and I'm going to also bring it up here, is regarding community safety. It is an imperative goal of mine that we move forward with an ordinance. I'm going to ask that the council, future council coming in, work on this gun range safety ordinance. This is not about Second Amendment. I was very disturbed to see these posts regarding carry of guns. I do not carry. I am a gun owner. But the amount of irresponsibility of those postings and the misinformation that has been put up by the person who has posted this, I find very irresponsible and jeopardizes the safety not only of myself, but every member on this council, the administration, and those out there in the world. That also includes the comments that were made tonight by some of the public people, very disturbing when it comes to this act of violence, especially in this today's world. We have to respect and keep it safe for each other. So that's my comments regarding that. I'd like to also, at this time of the year, just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and goodwill and peace to all. Thank you again.
Thank you, Andrew. Tony?
First, I want to clear something up. I did not feel bullied. I was not bullied. I don't think any of you are bullies. You know, we disagree, and that's what's part of being on a council. It's hard to make a decision within like seconds. So, you know, good or bad, I listen to everyone. When Mr. Lynch said something about, you know, we tabled the gun ordinance, why are we doing this? I was like, oh, he's right. I hear that. And Mr. Rizzuto said something, I did hear that. And then Mr. Williams. So for me, it was more of trying to make the right decision. And I did not feel bullied, or I did not feel like Andrew spoke over me. So I just wanted to make that clear. I'm 100% for the trail and the pump track. I think it's a great thing for our community. I think a caller called it, or someone wrote an email. And I do think it does bring people in. But I could see the point of holding off until new people came in that were voted for. So that, I just wanted to make that clear. Also, Peg said something about Mike's ethics, and that is not why. My question was, I looked up who was on the MUA, and I happened to see that Mike's term did not expire until 2022. And that was my question. I think Mike would be great on the MUA. Has nothing to do with his ethics. It was just that Andrew said something about an application coming in. I didn't see another application. So my second on the tabling of that was more for the process and nothing to do with Mike Fury, because I think you're great and you're ethical and you helped us sound so much. And then just lastly, I just want to thank the mayor for what you've had to say and the council for just being very nice, because it was a very short, quick learning curve. And to Danelle, she's always been so helpful. And just wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Tony. Mike?
And first, I want to thank Tony, Chili, Andy Pittsburgh, John Alberger for your time on the council. Whether you're elected or appointed, still, it's really appreciated for your time on the council. Mayor, town council, business owners, residents, My comments tonight is focused on the great accomplishments over the last year to reflect how we should still move forward with the new council. The township has made great progress on the following. We worked diligently with the MUA to increase expenses $300,000 per year. There has been no rate increase for the last 2 years, and we hope to do the same in 2022. We are upgrading pump station number 2 that is over 50 years old. That should have been completed in 2013. We are improving waterfront infrastructure in town center, all designed to increase ratables and to stabilize our taxes. Number 5, begin the construction of a pump track for all the residents to enjoy. Number 6, tonight we approved the award of a bid to begin this bike and hiking trail to complement the bike park. I want to thank every Greenway Action Advisory Committee member that worked hard since 2016 to make this a reality. Studies have shown that the NJDOT, the federal government, is willing to provide grants for up to $1.5 million for every mile of trail, which we need to take advantage of. And I repeat that, $1.5 million for every mile of trail they're willing to give grants to do these trails. We hope to continue that trail down to Mountain Creek and eventually down to Crystal Springs. These are the few accomplishments that we all should be proud of, since once again it proves that we do have a vision for Vernon. Now for the second part of my comments. Once again, Ms. Jessie Palladini has posted on Facebook a statement that Town Council President made about possible gun safety ordinance. Her comment stated the following, and I quote, "The more he talks, the more he makes a fool of himself. And now we know the whole council carries. Be afraid of the council stalking your house at night. Be very afraid." This statement incites violence and suggests that everyone on the council is a criminal capable of doing harm to the residents of Vernon. These disgusting comments are hateful political rhetoric that incites people to violence. This type of hate speech has no place in our community and in our society. I want this person, as well as any other residents, to be careful with what they make, comments they make in public, and to be mindful of the impact it has on people. Words do matter. I have decided to seek an attorney's advice on how to protect myself as a public official, and most importantly, to protect myself and my family from any potential harm. And all I ask is, please, everyone, be kind to each other and remember that the holiday spirit, that's what the holiday spirit is all about. With that, I still want to wish everyone a safe and wonderful holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Well, it leaves it up to me. I didn't make any comments about the trail. There was a motion on the floor. I started this journey almost 10 years ago to get trails coming into the town, connecting the trails. And then I ran on as mayor and was elected, and was a major part of my campaign again when I ran for council. We talked about the town center trail. It's really not a trail at all. It's a sidewalk behind the stores, the businesses in that area. You will never want to put sidewalks on Route 94. It will cost in the millions. They will be removing telephone poles. You'll have to deal with the state, the DOT, and we know how fast state agencies move. This would be connecting the municipal hall, the PAL, all the way down. There's some low-income housing. And the hope is to get it to Mountain Creek, because we have great business partners with Mountain Creek who are also members of our community. They have honored, the new management honored everything they said they would do. Also, I've said many times on this pathway, it needs to be ADA compliant, American Disabilities Act. It needs that to open up the door for many of our senior citizens. We know the baby boomers were aging. It needs to be for grandparents, those with physical disabilities. Now I'm truly blessed. Many of you know, and I've said it publicly, I had cancer, survivor, surgeries, also a lot of orthopedic surgeries. And what they kept saying to me, you got to fight back and you need to walk. You need to get on a bike and ride. This community is not safe to walk any kind of distance or ride a bike any kind of distance. So what I learned there, I'm going to champion and I'm going to stand up for those with disabilities, those that are older members of our population to provide that. So if they want to go watch their grandchild ride on a pump track, they can walk around it. Maple Grange is great, but it is very difficult to walk. If you have a disability, I see people that a little bit older, seniors. I'm also a senior citizen, but I'm blessed because I can hike, I can ride, and I can run. So that's what this is really about. Connectivity, connecting businesses, connecting people, connecting the municipal center. Of course, my plan has always been vision to have an amphitheater close by. Here, we already have parking, we have bathrooms. And hopefully, in next year's budget, we'll see the amphitheater finally be realized. So that's really what I look at, this so-called trail in the middle of town, is that connectivity and to be safe and give it to all people to enjoy. I hope some of you also saw the parade that our volunteers put on, our volunteer fire department and EMS. It was driving through the towns on the weekends. It was great coming through my house, and we have an upper deck, watching them, and it really is appreciated. I know we were really enjoyed it, and it's grown and grown. These volunteers do so many good things for our town. They really are. So I want to publicly thank them. I know I did it on Facebook, but they're just awesome for what they do for that parade. To the council members that will no longer be with us, thank you so much. I know we've had some friendships, we've had some arguments, debates. We don't always disagree, but that's what makes democracy work. It should always be about the politics and the issues and not personal feelings towards each other. And we always welcome the First Amendment, but it cannot lapse down. It cannot decay into personal attacks or accusing people of committing crimes. But we always will welcome the First Amendment and have hearty debate on issues. And I think, Tony, it's one of the things you and I do all the time. It's a debate. It's a helpful thing. And Andrew, we've had it, and John, I mean, you guys have voted against. And no matter how close we work together, you voted against my stand, and that's fine, because that's what this is about. And so with the incoming council, I look forward to working with you, and I know we'll have the debates on issues, and that should be welcome. And finally, I just want to wish everybody very happy holiday season. I know Hanukkah has passed. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, but we can all enjoy this season, work together, enjoy each other's company, just be kind. With that, thank you very much. John, can we have that motion?
Should we make a motion?
Oh, yes.
For the last meeting?
Yes, please do.
Make a motion to cancel the second meeting in December.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So be it. Now,
Motion to adjourn.
second,
Second that.
all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Marcy, I didn't write anything down.